Welcome to Zestful Living with your girl, Sweet Tea, where I bring you your daily dose of living in your self-discovery and your purpose. So welcome, everyone. This is Zestful Living with your girl, Sweet Tea, and today is day 3 of us getting together and meeting in this way. How's everyone doing today? Good to see you. And good to be seen. And so yesterday we talked about living in your purpose and being able to differentiate between your purpose and your passion. And so we wanted to mention once again about the excerpts of that. As it is noted, what comes first? Getting anchored in your purpose in life will create passion. So that's what we covered on yesterday. And once again, I am Latanja Millhouse, as known as Sweet Tea. And I am here to be able to help us have a community to be able to meet and to discuss the things or talk about the things that we should unfold each and every day as we evolve, because we know that growing has pains, and you hear that a lot, growing pains, but that is really a real thing in terms of what happens to us as we shed from the things that no longer serve us. We are letting it go, in other words. And so there's some pains involved in that, because oftentimes when we are in the midst of evolving, something goes away that we no longer need. And it's not that it's not going to be missed. It's just that you have reached the highest level that you can in that particular stage. And so now it's time to let it go. Just like when you are a baby, before you learn how to walk, you crawl. And as you're crawling, you're experimenting with different textures in terms of the carpet or however you're having to touch something, and you're being familiar with your surroundings. And as you begin to stand upright, you're learning how to trust yourself in terms of knowing that you're going to be okay, and that the people that are in your life, your parents, whomever is, your caregiver or raising you, is going to take care of you, and they know exactly what to do to make you feel safe and comfortable. And so you begin to reach for things, you begin to stand up, and you begin to take your first steps. And so that time as a baby comes from crawling to begin to reach for things and to begin to trust their own intuition, they take the first step, and before you know it, they're walking. And so it's just a stage and a gradual evolving as we get into our newness in life, the new part of us that we have not tapped into yet. So it's a discovering as we're recovering, and this is how we evolve. And so that's what it's all about when it comes to being your very best self. So I invite you, as we focus in our podcast here, personal growth, skill building, and community engagement. Those are some of the things that we focus on in your girl, Sweet Tea, Zestful Living with Sweet Tea. Rise and shine, and welcome everyone to Zestful Living with your girl, Sweet Tea. I'm hoping this day and would like for you to know that you are a wonderful person in your own right, in your own being, that you are taking on this journey for yourself. You're creating the life that you love, and you're living the life that you love. And so what it is, live the life you love and love the life you live. So that's what it's all about, to be able to be in your authentic self as you begin to see yourself as a worthy, deserving person that is deserving and worthy of a good life, as you begin to uncover who you are, as you discover and recover from the things that no longer serve you. And so it's a step and it's a process as we begin to see ourselves in our fullness of our being in terms of the greatness within us. And we can really realize these things as we sit still and as we become in our oneness, in our meditation, in our feeling of worthiness and gratitude. And we begin with the willingness. We have to be willing to take time for ourselves, to be able to create safe spaces so that we can be able to rejuvenate and reset, because the days are very, very busy and we have to be able to pour into ourselves. So I have created the Lady Academy Workshop and the Zest for Life Social Club and Support Group for women, mothers, wives, and business women over 35 who are constantly pouring into others and neglecting to pour into themselves. And I tell this story in terms of how I started. When I was 16, I started modeling in Los Angeles. My sister discovered, as she was already modeling, how I was laying around. I was depressed for various reasons. And so when she invited me to go to this model tryout, casting call, if you will, I went and I discovered something that I enjoyed. I discovered and it ignited a passion within me. And so I did get the position. I was modeling there in Los Angeles with my sister. And so as I got my family, started a family, I put everything that I was doing on the back burner. And I did some shows here and there, but for the most part, when you're focusing on one thing at a time in terms of raising your family, you do have some desires, but of course, to be really totally devoted as a mother, you know yourself that you pour into your family and make sure that their needs are met. And I was diagnosed with lupus in 1999, and I vowed that I have lupus. Lupus doesn't have me, and that's simply a being. You take your power back. You start to be able to reinvent yourself as it is, to be able to live the life that you enjoy. And so now at 58, I'm modeling again in an agency, the Lingell Agency, TLA, for models over 40, men and women. And so that fire within me that has been ignited in terms of the passion that I have for fashion and modeling, and you can see me on all of my social platforms, that's what I'm advocating for us ladies, mothers, and wives and business women to be able to pour into ourselves. So that is why I created the Lady Academy Workshop and the Zest for Life Social Club and Support Group membership, so that we can learn to put our needs first. Because too often us as people pleasers, we're doing this all the time. We're putting other things, other people, and other important factors. As you have in business, you have to make sure you're getting your work done and being productive. So of course you're going to put that time in and devote that, because you're a responsible person, because you are a resilient person, and you are a mature person, and that's why you accomplish the things that you do. And so we're not saying not to be proud or be happy or to be able to, give yourself credit for achieving these kinds of things. We're saying to be able to step back for a moment, take a breath, in through the nose, hold, breathe out. We're saying to take a moment to be able to pour into yourself everything that you need to get your day started. And that's what it's all about. We value our time because that's essentially what we have, and that's essentially what we share. We're sharing our time, and we're sharing our space and our energy and our interests, so that we can become our very best selves as we begin this journey. As it is, it's a journey of healing. And I say all aboard. The train is on its way. It's coming. And we want you to get on board this train so that you can be your very best self. Start pouring into yourselves. We have meetups that we do in the Zestful Life Social Club. Everything is already booked and ready to go for February. So we're interested in being able to show you how to start living a zestful life with enthusiasm, with vigor, with the urgency of being who you are in terms of everything that you were prior to being a mother, prior to being a businesswoman, prior to being someone's wife. Who are you at your core? And we get to the bottom of that in our Lady Academy workshop. So go ahead, if you will, and start to be on your journey of discovering who you are in your essence. So I invite you to do that in the post above, where you can link on the bio and go ahead and get started, if you will. And so today, in day 3, we're talking about feminine energy, and we're talking about tapping into our femininity. And oftentimes, we get into a place of, what does that really mean? And for me, it's about a stillness. It's about a being, and it's about having the core principles of what it means to be a lady. And for me, all of that is contingent upon who you define yourself as being a lady. And so we have exercises in the Lady Academy book, a guided interactive journal on becoming a lady. And so some of the ideas in here will help you to be able to tap into your femininity. And so some of the textbook definitions of femininity is qualities or attributes regarded as characteristic of women. And so for me, it says here in the book, what I've written here, femininity offers a solution towards keeping one's identity linked to how a lady behaves and loves herself without the need to compete for a man's traditionally led job or compete with a man in any aspect. And so that's what we're saying here in terms of subsequently, if you as a woman can perform your job without needing the assistance from your male comrades, then by all means perform the required duties of that job. But be sure to identify who you are and why you chose the life you have. Consequently, does it offer freedom within the dynamics of living comfortably in a man's world as a lady? And so I think that I'm talking about being rooted in being a lady in all aspects, because that gives you the basics, the basis, and the basic identity of how to ground yourself. And it's not about, being a submissive person to everyone's rude behavior, but it's about not having to make yourself be something that you're not. You don't have to be impolite to be able to express yourself. And of course, in the climate that we're in now, everything is about rushing. Everything is about being dominating. Everything is about pushing your way through. And it's an aggressive climate. And the lady, in terms of qualities of being a lady, is just the opposite of that. We are about being poised. And one can begin, as I say in my book, being a lady by asking instead of demanding. And a lady states her position in a manner that doesn't place blame on anyone else. And so to be a lady takes demonstrating patience, cultivating politeness, and respecting boundaries set by yourself and others. And a lady glides in the room as she enters. It's an inner glow of peace she offers to all those around her. Her peace comes from the Creator, Source, whomever you call your source, which gives her the abundance of love. And we say that being spiritually grounded is the central foundation of being a lady. In this way, it gives recognition from where one's faith resides, and we must begin the necessary work of connecting with a higher power in order to address our need for love. The Creator, or God, is love, and therefore we are love, and we are loved. Being a lady is about being aware of who we are in Christ, or whomever you call the source. So it's a grounding. It's a feeling of being a place in this space that we're living in terms of the society that we are living in, and we live in this world. But we can be not of the world in terms of some of the habits and things that are formed around us. So we can create a space for ourselves, an intimate, quiet space, so that we can be able to tap into that femininity, to be able to trust our intuition, as it is all about tapping in. And so when we tap in, we become quiet so that we would be able to hear what our intuition is guiding us in that space in order to be able to move accordingly. And so those are some of the things that we do to tap in to our femininity. So welcome to the Zestful Living with your girl, Sweet Tea. Rise and shine, and welcome. I would love for you all to be able to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as this series, as I call my podcast, my daily morning show. Let's just call it my morning show. Will come to you each and every day starting at 8 a.m. and we'll go for a full hour. And the purpose of it is so for us to be able to have a community, to be able to pour into each other, and to be able to invest our time into becoming our very best selves. So we do that in the Zestful Living with your girl, Sweet Tea. I was mentioning the other day, as I was about to audition for a part in an upcoming movie and stage play, that I would wait on the results. And just so that you'll know, ding, 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 ding. Alert, alert, alert. News report, news alert. I got the part. So I got the part that I auditioned for. And so I'm excited about it, and I'm happy to be able to share that with you all today. And so this is a part of my zestful living, as it is that we find the things that bring us joy, and we invest time into being perfected in the work that we have agreed to do. And so it's about connecting to those things and being committed to performing the task at hand. So we have to do our due diligence and being able to be prepared about the work that we have taken on. And so that's what it's about in terms of my taking on this acting and these particular roles that I am in terms of stage plays. And so I welcome you all to Zestful Living with your girl, Sweet Tea. We're going to do this each and every day to bring you some rise and shine. Rise up to the occasion and shine, and let your light shine. And so that's what we are about in the Zestful Living. We're being our very best selves, and we're doing this in a way that makes ourselves happy, and I was going to say proud. We make ourselves happy for the fact that we are living our best life, and we're becoming who we are meant to be. And so that's what we're doing here. And so I just wanted to share what I was saying about the let your light shine. You have to look up the scripture, Matthew 5:16. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. So we're doing this in the presence of our Creator to be able to let the light within us shine and let our glorify where it comes from, where the source has given us these particular talents, if you will, gifts, if you will. And so we're letting it shine within us. Let your light so shine. Let that glow within you shine before men, before the world, before everyone, that they may see your good works, your intentions, your beliefs, and glorify, give the credit and praise to where the source, your Father, which is in heaven, your father and mother, which is in heaven, that has given you these gifts, that has made you to be who you are. So we recognize that, and we are grateful for having these abilities that we have. So let your light shine. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father, which is in heaven. And so that's what we're doing today in the Zestful Living with your girl, Sweet Tea. We're becoming aware of who we are in terms of our core being. And I offer this in the Zest for Life social club support group that I started, as well as the Lady Academy workshop, because I noticed that us as mothers, wives, businesswomen, and CEOs, we're always pouring into others and neglecting to pour into ourselves. And it's not about feeling selfish to put your needs first. As I talked about, Reverend Dr. Jan Levon Zahn said it's not selfish. What goes into the cup is for us, and what goes out of the cup is for everyone else. Hence, my cup runneth over. So you give from your overflow. You learn to set boundaries in terms of your not being available for everything that everyone needs as a people pleaser, coming from a people pleaser myself. You don't necessarily have the tools to be able to say no without feeling as if you're hurting someone's feelings. However, it's important and it's essential that you do that in order to be able to keep yourself in your right mind, if you will, and to be able to stand on the things that you're committing to. When I give my word to something, I'm standing on that. So if I tell someone that I'm going to be there for them, I am there for them. However, because of being a people pleaser, you give too much of your time, too much of your energy, too much of your devotion to other people to make sure that they have everything they need. You feel depleted, and you feel a sense of being overly giving. And so a giver is going to always give, and a taker is going to always take. So you have that push and pull that we talked about in terms of how that continues to be a cycle. So in order to be able to break the cycle, that's where your boundaries come in. That's when you're able to set the pace on how much of yourself you're going to give to others. And you can do just enough as you give from the overflow, because it doesn't affect your energy, because you have built up enough within you that you have that to be able to share. And there's nothing wrong with sharing, because again, sharing is caring. But we want to be able to learn to care about ourselves and our needs. And so that's essentially what we're talking about, making sure that we're pouring from our giving. As we pour into ourselves, we're giving from our overflow. And so today, let me just make sure I find my notes that I have. We'll make sure that we are subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'm trying to say. As you can do that in my bio. I have some great things that I'm doing in this Zestful Living with your girl, Sweet Tea. And this is what you've tuned in for today. It's the daily morning show with your girl, Sweet Tea, as I bring you the rise and shine for the day, how to go ahead and get yourself started and get up and get moving for the day. Set yourself some goals for your day so that you would be able to reach those goals and know that it's okay to go at your own pace. We're not rushing through life. We're not competing with anyone. We're being our very best selves as we take this journey of healing, self-discovery, and self-love. And that's what it's all about. And thank you for joining me as I'm learning that a lot of men have been, as they were and are fathers and husbands, are also pouring into other people and need to be able to pour into themselves as well. And so we have some things available for men also coming up. And so we know during the empty nest syndrome that when the children are off to college and they're moved out on their own and you've invested a lot of time as a parent pouring into your children, you discover and rediscover, well, what is it that I like? And who am I in this space now? I have all of this free time. So what do I do with my free time? And that's what we do in the Zest for Life Social Club and Support Group. We have our hobbies and interests that we're doing. We have meetups. We do our Zoom calls bi-weekly. and we devote our time, and we're able to meet up with like-minded women to be able to address the things that we need to let go of and release in order for us to move in a space of being unapologetically free. And so today on day 3, we're talking about feminine energy, the basics of tapping into your femininity, and why it's important. And so what I've done, because I like acronyms, is that I am defining femininity, faithfully evolving maturity, intuition as necessities, I should say, or integrity and newness. Newness is trusting yourself. And so that feeling of being able to come into a space where you're sitting still and you're owning your essence. Because for me, femininity, as we know, is about being. It's about being still. It's about being your authentic self. And it's about being quiet in terms of it doesn't require action in terms of a lot of doing. So we know as being human beings, we're being human. And it's just a place of knowing. It's an all-knowing as we are tapped into our source, the all-knowing, omnipresent. And so we know that there's not a whole lot that we have to do to rush, to prove. We can improve ourselves, as I say, but we do not have to prove ourselves to anyone. So it is, I am that I am because I am. You know, I am here and I am worthy and deserving of a good life. And so the femininity is about tapping into our sensuality. And the sensuality is about feeling the senses and being able to tap into those senses as a sensual moment in terms of a softness as we go about understanding who we are at our core as ladies. And that's why I created and wrote the Lady Academy, a guided interactive journal on becoming a lady. And in this, you're going to find a lot of different exercises, and you're going to be able to tap into some of the ideas about what that entails. As we talk about in the book, tone matters. We need to be more aware of how we speak, what we say, and the volume we use to express ourselves. Ideally, speaking in a firm but soft voice makes a great difference on the results you'll receive. Some of the ways in which to be in full alignment with these principles, and I list a few. Being accountable. Our actions are our own, and we should acknowledge what we say to others and the effects it has upon them. Forgiveness. You'll be surprised how rewarding it is to let go of any grudges, gripes, or generational beefs. Address the issue and move on. Remember, forgiveness helps to free you from the matter, not to forget the infraction. Apologizing. It's extremely important to admit your part in the situation and apologize. In some cases, it may not even have been anything that you've done wrong at all. But offer an apology and move on. Solving issues before they become irreconcilable. There's nothing worth losing a valuable, healthy relationship over. In most cases, be the bigger person, and guess what? And move on. Show interest and be attentive. Be engaged by being mentally and physically available when communicating with the man in your life. Active listening skills. It's imperative that we demonstrate our full, undivided attention when we're in the presence of our men. No one likes feeling that they're not being heard. Be sure to reiterate what you heard and continue with the conversation. Have courtesy for both genders, as it says. It's important to acknowledge how we respond and treat people, all people, especially other women. Because us as women and ladies, we know that it's said that we don't get along with other women. And so I offer a exercise on how to be able to address that and being able to know that we're all essentially the same in terms of the friendships that we can develop. And there's no need for competition in that space. And that's what I offer in the Lady Academy workshop. You will be able to have a book that's offered to you and given to you as well. And so one of the things that we talk about in some of the work that we do is, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And so that's a question that asks of you when you're in a space of your femininity and your softness and your sensuality, in spaces with your man, in your spaces as a wife, in terms of in a situation where there's a disagreement. So would you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Because in the space of being right, it's not about the fact that you're not heard or that you're not able to express yourself. If there's any friction or conflict, it's about knowing how to reserve that energy to be able to assure that you're going to be able to agree to disagree in some senses. If you know you're right, it does not have to be a fight about being able to prove your point of view. It's about a feeling of, I understand. And I, at this time within myself, I'm saying, I'm just going to let it go. I'm not going to, argue with anyone in terms of me disagreeing. I'm just going to move on. And that's the exercise that we talked about in the Lady Academy booklet, that it's about moving on, because we oftentimes become stuck on something. We're being bombarded with something that is out of our control. And we need to turn it loose and let it go, because if it no longer serves us, why are we holding on to it? We don't have to be able to continue to strain ourselves to be able to get someone to understand our point of view. If they don't get it, then it's okay. The train is coming, as I say, in my Lady Academy and the Zestful Life Social Club and Support Group. Come on board, all aboard. It's moving. When we're moving on, we're letting go. Okay? We're shedding away the things that no longer serve us. And so that feminine energy is about a stillness, a quietness, a softness, a knowing, an all-knowing, that you do not have to overtalk anyone. You do not have to prove your point to anyone. And you do not have to be in a being perfected, or shall I say, a perfectionist, in terms of having to do it right, having to get everything said the right way, in terms of competing with someone for attention, for time. You don't have to do that. It's about, for me, and this is just my opinion as it is my talk show, it's my opinion in terms of what it is to be feminine and have the feminine energy. So some of the things that we can do to highlight that is we can be able to affirm ourselves. Look into a full-length mirror and give yourself eye contact in the mirror. And just say empowering affirmations about your femininity and your beauty. Give yourself some credit in terms of the grace that you need to give yourself in this space of pouring into yourself. And we do affirmations here in the Zestful Living with your girl, Sweet Tea. Rise and shine. And beauty, as it says, is in the eye of the beholder. But as we behold ourselves, as we're looking in the mirror, we have to affirm our beauty. And we know that it's an inner being, the person that takes on these daily challenges, So you tell yourself, I am beautiful. I am thankful. I am grateful. I am worthy. And I am worthy of a good life. I am worthy of being my very best self. I am worthy of the things that I give my attention to that's going to improve my life. And I don't have to prove myself to anyone at any time. At no time do I have to do that. So that's some of the things that we can do to begin to affirm ourselves and pour back into ourselves, because we know that's important. And I offer that in the Lady Academy workshop, a mirror exercise as well, to actually become fully unclothed, fully naked, and you're looking in that full-length mirror, and you're being able to look at all of you. And so you strip naked and give yourself compliments and words of encouragement with affirmations. And you tell yourself, how did it make you feel? So I have all of this in the Lady Academy booklet. It's a guided interactive journal on becoming a lady. And you'll receive this when you join in the Lady Academy workshop. This is provided for you, or you can actually look in the link in the bio and order it at the Amazon.com, or you can go to music in the little 5 points if you're in Atlanta and purchase it out of the bookstore there in the little 5 points. And so another thing that we can do to tap into our feminine energy, you can have some journaling that you can do and ask yourself, when do I feel the most feminine? Actually ask yourself that. Take a moment. And as I contemplate on when do I feel the most feminine, for me, it's when I dress in my clothing and I am modeling on the runway. I really feel dainty and I really feel feminine. And then I also feel the most feminine when I'm in the presence of my gentleman friend, because I feel soft, I feel loved, and I feel my energy that loves to express love. And so that makes me feel the most feminine. And I also feel the most feminine when I'm in my sensual awareness, because we know it's about your senses. So when I wear my good smelling perfumes and lotions, that really makes me feel feminine, because it softens my skin. And so how can I bring more of that energy into my daily life? Ask yourself that question. How can I bring more of that energy into my daily life? The energy of feeling feminine. Because we know in a busy, bombarded world, as we know here in Atlanta, is where we're based in, the traffic, the being able to be alert, because you have to move your neck, you have to be able to watch, you got to be able to step on your brakes, step on your gas, being able to navigate through traffic. That's a masculine, aggressive energy, because again, you have to be able to, if you're in the slow lane, that's fine, but you're going to get honked at. Move out the way. Put your foot on the pedal, baby, and get out of my way. Traffic is moving steadily. So if you can't keep up in the fast lane, then you're going to have to go in the far right lane. And then that is a challenge. And I believe that the extended speed on the freeways, I think I've noticed up to 55, you can do up to 55, maybe 65, and you find someone taking their sweet time while everyone else is zipping around them. So it's an assertive, aggressive climate that we're already living in. And there's nothing wrong with tapping into your femininity or your feminine energy and your masculine energy. You have a dual. It's a duality, knowing when to use each one of them. So when I'm on the freeway, it used to be a point where I just did not like going on the freeway. It was too busy. And of course, you have to be alert when you're driving. You know, that's going to save your life. Of course, wearing your seatbelt, being alert. It's not about your driving. It's about the other drivers, as we always say. Some people aren't paying attention. They're looking in their cell phones. They're looking in their mirrors. They're looking at the people that they're sitting next to. They're having conversations. But who's focused on the wheel? Who's focused on the view in front of you? And then oftentimes, if you have someone in the back of you and they're honking their horn, wanting you to be able to move faster, I say, I cannot move any faster than the person that's in front of me. Okay? So this is an aggressive climate that we're living in on a day-to-day basis. People are rushing. People are in a hurry. Where are you going? How soon do you need to get there? Okay? You're going to get there in due time if you set enough time to begin your journey early. You have to be able to prioritize your time because, again, everyone is moving at the same speed of life on these freeways, highways, and byways. They're in a hurry. They're in a rush. And if you are not able to keep up, there's some exit signs everywhere. However, if you're in the far left lane, you got to be able to navigate your way to be able to get through. You put your blinker on to let someone know what your next move is in terms of driving. But in our lives, in order to know what our next move is, we maintain that within ourselves. That we're not required to let anyone know what our next move is. You know that for yourself. In other words, let it happen first. If you would like to share it after that, then that's your prerogative. But as I'm talking about the feminine energy and relating this to the masculine energy when we're driving on these highways, but your girl, Sweet Tea, I can keep up, okay? When I'm driving, I'm very cautious of the speed that I use, and I'm very cautious of being able to let everyone know around me when I put my blinkers on that I'm getting ready to move. And I make sure that I'm looking. I have a rear view mirror, of course, and I'm looking before I make a move. Okay, so there's a lot of alertness that we have to do in our driving. And we know that here in Atlanta, when it comes to, we won't even get into the parking situation because that, again, is a entire entity of making and earning a living for a lot of people because they're charging you in most places for parking. Okay, so everything has a price in terms of what we would have to contend with in this busy, busy world. So being feminine is about finding a safe, quiet space to be able to reset, realign ourselves, and rejuvenate, pour into ourselves, and feel the feelings, whatever they are, and address them, acknowledge them, and be aware of them, and then let them go and move on. Okay? So that's what we do. And welcome once again to the Zestful Living with your girl, Sweet Tea. I'm LaTanja Millhouse, as known as Sweet Tea. My sister coined that name for me because she says I'm so sweet. Oh, how sweet it is to be loved by you. All right. And so those are some of the things that we want to do to be able to connect with our feminine energy. And another thing that we can do, what we call a sensory walk, and go outside, engage fully with your senses. And that's what I was talking about earlier about the sensuality, is about the senses that we tap into. Feel the wind, in terms of when that is occurring. You can feel a breeze, even if it's sunny outside and you're under a shade tree. Feel the wind across your face. What does that feel like for you? That requires some stillness. I like to visit some of my local recreational centers, and of course the open park. There's a track that I walk around, and I'll also bring a blanket and rest up under a shade tree. And I would also walk barefoot in the grass to get my grounding in, because we offer ourselves a lot of great principles that our feet are soaked into the ground, the earth, and that grounding helps you to be able to rebuild yourself in the sense of being able to tap in to this stillness, so that you won't have to be anxious or to be feeling as if you're having to be in a demanding spirit, because everyone is commanding your attention, your time, and they're wanting that from you. So to get grounded, you go barefoot and walk around in the earth to get back to the core of who you are in your being. And so you can do that, and then notice the textures around you. Hug a tree, feel the leaves, as they're leaving in the fall season. They have left, actually. And now, as it is, I understand it's going to start getting warmer now here in February in Atlanta. And once again, happy Black History Month, as I pause for a moment to give recognition to those that came before us, that fought for our rights of being considered citizens, human beings, and they have fought for our rights to be in wherever we want to be in, whether that's restaurants, whether that's malls, whether that's any spaces. We have the right to go and do and be anywhere we would want to go and be and do, because we are human beings and we have rights. And we want to thank our ancestors for all of their inventions. We want to thank them for giving us resilience. We want to thank them for giving us the strength to move forward, to be people of integrity, because again, they have laid the groundwork, the blueprint for us in terms of how we move in this society, how we move in life. And I'm grateful for each and every one of them, our ancestors who have paved the way to give us this fresh start, to be able to know that we're standing on warriors in this space. There's nothing to fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. We don't have to fear anything. We can know that we're in the right space, in the right alignment, because it feels good within us. And we know when something is right because we're listening to that intuition. And oftentimes, if you call on someone, your ancestors and whomever you pray to, your source, they will respond to you and let you know, we're rooting for you. You got this. And we're proud of you. So I am so grateful and so thankful for the ancestors in my life that have given me the strength to take on these challenges, to take on life, and to be still and to know, hold on to God's unchanging hand, as my grandmother would say. So we're moving in the right spaces, and we're showing up for ourselves each and every day. Welcome to the Zestful Living with your girl, Sweet Tea. I am here for you, and this is what we're doing in this space. We're rediscovering ourselves as it is. I have created the Lady Academy Workshop and the Zest for Life Social Club Support Group membership because, again, I put off the things that I wanted to do, and I'm rediscovering those passions for fashion, for modeling, for designing, a lot of great things that I have that I'm in store and working on and restoring myself for. And it's not about being selfish. It's about being self-full, as Dr. Iyanla Vanzant has said, that when you pour into yourself first, you're pouring into yourself. That's the cup. And then what goes into the cup is for you. And what goes out of the cup is for everyone else. Hence, my cup runneth over. And so it's self-full, she says, because you're giving from your overflow. And so another thing you can do to be able to tap into your feminine energy is listen to nature. Oftentimes when Asha, my daughter, and I are taking our daily walks, if you just be in the moment, you can hear the birds chirping. And they are into their zone. They have a routine. They have a group. As they say, birds of a feather fly together. We see red birds. We see all kinds. And, just to sit and listen to nature sometime is very rewarding. And I like to be able to feed the squirrels that are around in the backyard. And I have a little calling that I do. Boo-boo, boo-boo. And then after a while, I go back in the house and they're all over eating the peanuts that I give them and different things that I feed them. And even the birds, we have a bird feeder. And so the point is to listen to nature. Sit still, quiet, find you a quiet spot outside and just listen, Nature tells us how it operates in the quiet stillness. If we listen close enough, we would be able to tap in to that essence within us. That is our nature rising. Rise and shine. Get up and put your best foot forward. Rise and shine. Take on the challenges. Head on. As my mom says, don't run from it. Face it. Be accountable for your part in the matter. And I talk about that in my book. Because oftentimes we can easily see what someone else has done, and we can easily name it off. However, to be able to tap into what we have done for that infraction, being self-aware, being accountable for our actions, it's a maturity. And of course, if you have offended anyone, ask them for their forgiveness and wait and see what their response is. And you'll know if it's been forgiven, if they haven't brought it up again. But if it's being brought up again, there's still some open wounds that can be addressed. And you can be able to find a way to be able to explore what that is, how that made them feel, and be able to express again your sincere apology for hurting someone that you had no intentions of hurting. And I think that's important because it is about the intentions. What is your intent? And if you didn't mean any harm, it won't affect you. Okay? But if it has offended someone else, then we can be accountable for what we have done and address it. And guess what? Move on. That's my theme word for the day. And so another way to tap into our feminine energy is self-adornment. Wear something silky. Okay? And of course, that makes your skin feel soft, And we have to do that as ladies. We have to be able to be our own sensual selves, even if you're not doing this to impress your man in your life. Of course, that's an added bonus. But you want to be in practice to be able to pour that into yourself, to make sure that you're feeling feminine and sensual at all times. And so it's what we adorn on our skin to make us feel soft. So it says here to wear something silky. And as I mentioned before, apply perfume. Those particular good smelling perfumes, I know what it does for me to smell a good smelling man, some cologne. It just really, really invites the warmth, because again, that's the sense of smell. And, it has its own properties, and it releases a lot of things within you. And of course, it is an intimate feeling that you receive in a lot of cases. But of course, apply the perfume for whatever reasons that you do. And those different smells and scents that you are smelling, you can find what matches best for your skin and what it releases for you, if it's vanilla musk or whatever. Lavender, I love the lavender smells. And really, really be intentional about these, setting yourself in these sensual spaces. And then also put on some jewelry with intention to embody beauty and grace. And you can do that, with the waist beads is what I was trying to think of. The waist beads really have a lot of principles when it comes to the beads that you're wearing. They have different meanings that will actually enhance a lot of that within you that you need to tap into. You can tap into your femininity with certain beads that you can wear that would actually enhance those sensual feelings and that feminine energy. So these are some practices that we can do in order to be able to tap in. And so I'm happy and grateful to be able to share this space with you on day 3 of the Zestful Living with your girl, Sweet Tea. And so we've learned today about feminine energy. And I have created an acronym for femininity. And I says faithfully evolving maturity and intuition, the necessities of integrity. Newness is trusting yourself. And as we close for today, we know that being still, being quiet, and being able to trust that inner being, which is our intuition. Listen to the intuition and know that you're in the right space at the right time, and the divine timing will not ever lead you stray. Hold on to God, the source, whomever you call the source, unchanging hand. And remember, you don't get stuck in anything. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. However, the train is here. All aboard. Sign up for the Lady Academy workshop in the Zest for Life Social Club support group. All aboard. Join us on this journey of rediscovering and healing. And remember, moving on is about letting go and releasing the things that no longer serve us. So thank you once again for listening to your girl, Sweet Tea. We'll be doing this each and every day with your Zestful Living with your girl, Sweet Tea, each and every morning starting at 8 a.m. And I hope this commentary has provided you a way to move on, let go, and release any inhibitions or anything that no longer gives you joy. Enjoy is about going within and enjoying and finding joy in the life you live. Live the life you love and love the life you live. Thank you once again for joining your girl, Sweet Tea, and I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. for Zestful Living with your girl, Sweet Tea morning show. Be blessed.